next hour. We went to you very quick this evening because we're very, very enthusiastic about going to your phone calls over at 503-288-4442, 503-288-4448. That's right. We're going to your phone calls tonight. We're going to be with you for about an hour. We do have a lot of news, as always. We always have a lot of news. But we have my stack, the stack that I usually go into. And then, of course, I have the stack that my friend Marshall dropped in my lap. A lot of information on the economy, a lot of information on some other things. There's also a very interesting report that's brought to us by Dan Rather. We'll talk about that later on. I'll save my thoughts for that later on. I've also got my predictions for the rest of 2010 report, and so we're going to talk about that as well. So feel free to call in at this time at 503-288-4442 and make your points quick and to the point. Hopefully something inspiring, something creative, something informative. And of course, as always, make sure your television is turned completely off before you pick up that phone and begin to dial the number. So let's go ahead and go into some of these other reports, starting with this particular one. This is from Saturday of this week. Obama speaks of new international order. He avoided the popular catchphrase New World Order by replacing world with international. And both words are synonymous with each other. And now this is from the Washington Post. President Obama on Saturday pledged to shape a new international order as part of a national security strategy that emphasizes his belief in global institutions and America's role in promoting democratic values around the world. Central banks, that is. Speaking to the graduating class at the U.S. Military Academy at West Point, the 9th wartime commencement in a row, he said the commander-in-chief who is leading 2 foreign wars expresses faith in cooperation and partnerships to confront the economic, military, and environmental challenges of the future. The international order we seek is one that can resolve the challenges of our times, he said in prepared remarks, countering violent extremism and insurgency, stopping the spread of nuclear weapons, and securing nuclear materials, combating a changing climate and sustaining global growth, helping countries feed themselves, and caring for their sick, preventing conflict and healing its wounds. These are all the reasons and more why we need an international order. Now, these are some other things to be aware of in light of this. Last week, President Obama quietly ordered a massive U.S. military buildup in the Middle East, consisting of a vast number of munitions, weapons, transfers to U.S. bases in the Mideast region, along with a U.S. Navy aircraft carrier battle group, the USS Truman, along with 4 other carrier battle groups to arrive in the region in the next 60 to 90 days. Meanwhile, Iran and Israel are engaged in full-on war games, simulating full-on war. President Obama's speech at America's primary university for educating future generals does suggest to a certain level that the president is sending a confirmation signal that he's preparing to order U.S. military forces into an engagement that will take another step forward in fulfilling the elite plan, really, for a new world order. But they're saying new international order because it doesn't sound as hard. It sounds softer. It sounds more comforting. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. One that can resolve the challenges, in quote, of our time. And so this is in the news. Also, we see this as well. Obama starts deploying interrogation teams. The Obama administration has started to use special law enforcement and intelligence teams to interrogate suspected militants in the United States and abroad, in our country, here physically, and abroad, including the Pakistani American arrested in the Times Square bombing plot. And I'm reading directly from the mainstream media. I hope that you're intelligent enough to figure out what all this means for yourself. We also see this as well. Pentagon and police staged terror attack exercise in Long Beach, California. First responders from across California will practice their skills during a hypothetical terror attack Wednesday at the port of Long Beach. The simulation will involve an actor pretending to be a gunman and a fake contamination of hazardous materials near Rainbow Harbor. And so these exercises are part of California's annual 2-day Homeland Security and disaster preparedness drills. Thousands of first responders from the local and state, federal level are taking part in the exercises, which includes, go back to the graphic there, Bill, so we can go ahead and read this together, a fake attack on a container ship at the port of Oakland, a bomb explosion at the port of Redwood City, and terrorist attacks in waters off Los Angeles, San Diego, and Long Beach. The annual exercise was started by Governor Schwarzenegger in 2004. So you're wondering, what does this mean? Why is this relevant? For those that haven't been paying attention, the last couple of years we're seeing more drills in many major cities, also rural areas, where they're preparing for martial law, preparing to take on the American enemy. People fighting the government, people resisting some sort of declaration or order that the government anticipates coming in the near future. So what do they know that you don't know? They know a lot. And if there's nothing for us to fear, nothing for us to worry about, why aren't the contingency plans public, as Peter DeFazio, a representative here in Oregon, would like to see and announced on the Senate floor? As a member of the Homeland Security Committee, he can't see the plans for continuity of government. Perhaps that's because of something that's included in those plans that they don't want us to see. I moved from one residence to another residence within Portland. A couple weeks ago, 3 Black Hawk helicopters flew over my house on the day I was moving out. They're doing a lot of drills on the west side and on the east side. Some of you may also be aware of all the fighter jets, the major activity going on in our aerospace, probably including NORAD and some other groups as well. Helicopters, of course, it's just becoming the norm, isn't it? And in the very near future, UAVs, unmanned flying robots, if you will. Perhaps flying flies. That technology does exist. Perhaps it'll become so commonplace you're no longer alarmed by that either. So just saying it's always been this way, or that you're used to it, or that it's been going on the last couple of years and you're not bothered by it, that's not an excuse for allowing the militarization of your local police, of your local cities. And of course, our city is definitely responsible for your freedom, your civil liberties, and certainly in the future, you need to look at those that were silent when we were warning the people. And I'm talking about Adams, I'm talking about Randy Leonard, I'm talking about Dan Salzman, Amanda Fritz, Nick Fish. They all are very, very quiet about things they don't have to talk about. Right now, they've got their plate full, obviously, with the Portland police. They've got their plate full with the economy melting down and having to slash services and of course, make cutbacks to the schools, which upsets the people that put them in power, that supported them. But there are, remember this, always other issues lingering in the background while we're focused on survival. 503-288-4442, 503-288-4448. I do think we have several guests that I'm going to be bringing to the show the next couple of weeks, so this will be the call-in show, probably one of the primary call-in shows for the month. And I can go on and on and on the news that I presented. I went over a couple things here pertaining to Obama and the New World Order announcement, New International Order, just another one in a long continuum. Obama to start deploying interrogation teams. I'm going to randomly pull through the stack of articles that I haven't fully gone through, so at least I mention them. This is also one random publication that's been produced in Portland for years, the People's Police Report. Remember to grab one of these when you see it, when you're in Southeast or if you're around town, and it pretty much gives you a brief overview or summary of the Portland police and what they've been involved in the last couple of years. Officers like Chris Humphreys, Kyle Nice, and many, many others. In fact, on the note of the police, I was pulled over the other day. I haven't been able to renew my tags for my vehicle. It's because I live in a high crime, high murder gang activity area, especially in the past, not so much today, but things still do go on like prostitution and whatnot. I'm more likely to be pulled over based on where I live now. And so this is the reality of the world that some of us are in, as we're aware consciously of the world we're going into. Some of us have to experience it, city life, more than others. Although there was another officer that was looking for someone suspicious, and of course he saw me walking around getting my night walk at about 1:30 in the morning near my house, near Lombard. And he said there was someone running around the neighborhood was with a switchblade breaking into cars. And I told him who I was, and he actually did watch the show and did appreciate some of the content that he saw on the show. So I also believe they can't marginalize all police or think that they're all a part of the system or all